Um, cool. Welcome everyone for another session of live chatbot building. I'm Alex. I work at ubisend, and this is kind of the second. Well, it's exactly the second um, type of sessions that I'm doing like this. So I've actually run a series over the last 6 to 7 weeks, I think, which was all about creating a customer service chatbot. And so it's all live on YouTube. So if you want to go back and have a look, you can. If I won't go into it because I obviously went through all of that during the actual sessions, but this is pretty much what I built with your help last series. So it was the customer service chatbot, as you can see. I called it customer service demo. It was specifically around an event, a live event kind of company, and helping them deal with inquiries from their potential customers, people who might attend the event and might have questions about, things that they can bring, things that they, how to get a refund, that sort of stuff. Um, for now, what I want to do, so that kind of lasted about 7 weeks, and every single week I did about an hour video live. Well, obviously it's live. I did about an hour live stream, and then the recording was made available onto our YouTube channel. So if you want to go back and have a look at that, I'll drop the link in the channel in a minute. So you can go back and have a look at that. That's really, really helpful. And I would say if you're joining this one, which I'll introduce what this one is going to be all about. But if you're joining this one to learn with me, then you know if you've followed the previous one, there's a chance that you'll have seen some of the stuff that I'll show you. I'm just dropping the link to the playlist there in the chat, so you can go and have a look. So there's a chance that you'll have seen some of the stuff that I'm going to show you here. Obviously, I'm going to use the ubisend platform. And although we release a lot of features, it's not like I can just completely create a brand new experience. But we will use a lot of features that you haven't necessarily seen in the previous series. And so I'll obviously introduce the build in a second. So that should give you a better understanding. Cool. So this was last series. So I'm going to switch back to my brand new account, which is this one. So as you can see, and if you've seen my email earlier today, what I'm going to build is a lead generation chatbot. Lead generation is massive in the chatbot industry. A lot of companies, whether they are B2B, B2C, anything like that, will use automation to place it on their website or on their messaging channels to get people to either purchase products, which would be obviously more of a sales chatbot, but also at a more granular level, at a more basic level, just to capture leads. The ubisend chatbot, if you go on ubisend.com, is essentially that. It is a lead generation chatbot. And you can go and have a test with that if you'd like. It's all available. But what I really want to do basically is create this from scratch. So this is a pretty extensive chatbot already. And it's good. It's been there for a while, and you can go and have a play with it. But it wouldn't really be that helpful for me to just go in the back end and just show you what this is. What I want to do is start from scratch, have a brand new project that we're going to build together, and then we're gonna try and struggle together or sail through this whole thing. We'll see. But what I really want you to take out of this is obviously the lessons of how to build a bot, what kind of features you want to start with, what kind of parts of the bot you want to start with, as opposed to if you start from the wrong end of the bot building process, you might end up having to untie everything and undo everything that you've just done, and obviously that's not ideal. Cool. So let's get started. So I've spin up a brand new platform here, and the first thing I might do is have a little look. So this is completely brand new. So if I go into metrics, I don't have any metrics. If I go into conversation builder, I have these 10 conversations, which are pre-built within the ubisend platform. So that's nothing new. That's nothing that I've done myself. If I go into the logs, you can see that, okay, I sent a message earlier when I created the account, I suppose. I might have. Oh yeah, so I created the account and therefore I just went and checked the demo. So we'll go through all of the logs and things like that later on if you're interested in that. The other thing to say, obviously, ask any questions you have. I'm here to answer. So again, no broadcasts, no notifications, no FAQs. Haven't done any FAQs yet. I haven't done any training, obviously, because there isn't any FAQs. No integrations, nothing, nothing, nothing. So all of this is a brand new account. And so what I'm going to do first is I'll change my process a little bit from the previous series. The previous series, I kind of dived right into it, and I think it might be worth just discussing for a minute what this project is, which is most likely what's going to happen. If you are either a partner or a client that's just using this platform for your own company, what you'll probably do is you'll sit down with your team or with your customers and just try and figure out what it is that you'd like to build. And so it's probably worth us having a quick think about what it is that we like to do. So I wrote down really 5 points on this, 5 things I'd like to achieve with this bot. Um, the first is I want to achieve a lead generation chatbot. So obviously I've mentioned that before. This is nothing new. What I want this bot to do is precisely that. I want it to gather leads. I don't want to do any selling. I want to gather the information from the users and send it across to my team, to my sales team, my sales staff, and just get them to call them or email them, and take it from there from a human perspective. So that's the kind of first point. The second point is I want this to sit on my website. I think lead generation is most often done via a company website. The question mark here is it going to be a widget like this one on my website, which will kind of appear everywhere on every single page on my website? So that could be good. Or will it be more like a full page bot like this one? So both of these are options that are available, and I'm not going to make a decision on that just yet. So that's point number two. The third point, and this is something I want to introduce in this series, just because I think you'll have fun with it, is I want this chatbot to live on a mobile messaging channel as well. So website chatbots are very well known. They are quote unquote common. They always kind of sit in here, and that's all good, nice and good. But we can, within the ubisend platform, we can also deploy chatbots onto multiple channels. So we could do, Facebook Messenger, Facebook Workplace, Teams, Telegrams, etc. And there's a whole bunch of other channels here below that. And so I want to introduce an integration in this series. And I think for now I'm leaning towards Telegram, just because it's quite a nice one to do. It's very simple to do. Anyone can do it. You don't need to go through a whole lot of process about creating a new page, etc. And of course we can talk about the other channels if you'd like, if you have any questions throughout. So that's point number three. I'd like it to sit on a messaging channel, potentially Telegram. Fourth point is I want to take lead details. So that's going to be phase one of this build. I'm kind of envisioning 8 sessions again, 7 to 8 sessions. And I think phase one is going to be generating leads, so capturing the leads. So what I want to happen is I want that when people talk to my bot, at some point I'm going to say, do you sell this product? Obviously, the bot is not going to answer this because I haven't programmed anything. So do you sell this product? And then the bot is going to say yes. Do you want to buy it, or do you want to talk to someone? And then I'll go through a short interaction with the bot, where the bot is going to ask me for my name, my email address, my phone number, a time and date where it would be ideal for us to talk, that sort of stuff. And then I'll capture all of this information and email it to the appropriate team. So that's point four. And then fifth and final point, which is going to be phase two, is I'd quite like to do an actual CRM integration in here. One thing that you'll hear me talk about a lot is the ubisend platform allows you to connect to any third-party software. So as long as the third-party software has an API, which obviously most platforms will do, like HubSpot obviously has an API, Salesforce has an API. Yep. What else do people use? Reply.io. I don't know if people use that. They have an API. I mean, most platforms have an API. And so what we could do here is we could create an actual interaction between the ubisend platform and whatever it is that we're going to use as the CRM example for this, potentially HubSpot, potentially something a bit simpler. But what I really want to do is eventually, once we've created these kind of email notifications for our team, I'm going to swap those for a CRM integration. And the reason for this is I know that this is what people do. I know that this is what clients and partners do. So they'll set up an account, they'll set up a bot, they'll build the interaction, and they'll start with something simple. So a website build, a website chatbot, sorry, that just sends email notifications. But then eventually, what you want is you don't want to have all of this stuff in an email and all of that kind of disambobulated data. What you want is you want to have something that's all into one. And so if your company or your clients are already using a CRM, then why not just connect it? That's possible. Now, the complexities of connecting with this CRM is where we might we might run into some challenges, because it would mean that I would have to set up an account on some sort of CRM for free somewhere and just kind of pretend that that's my CRM. I can't obviously just log into the ubisend HubSpot account, for instance, that would just actually share information live on stream about our clients or our email list, etc. So you obviously can't do that from a GDPR perspective. So we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, but I think that's where I want to get to. And that's that. So let's recap. So we want to do lead generation. We want to set it on the website. We want to put it into a channel, potentially Telegram. We wanted to take lead details and email it to our team. And then eventually we want to integrate into a CRM. Cool. All right. So the first thing that I did last time, and I think it's probably worth it, is actually just kind of set up the bot in a way. So it's kind of designing it, designing a few of the basic stuff. It's quite nice to get into straight away into the like creating FAQs and doing content and stuff. But then you go into this demo here, and it just really doesn't really look like anything. So first of all, it just says, "Welcome to your new chatbot. Here's how to get started." And these things send me to different kind of links and stuff. And so obviously this is kind of a placeholder that ubisend puts in. And so the first thing I want to do is I want to change that. That's just a bit crap. So I'm going to go into the conversation builder here, and I'm going to look for the welcome to your chatbot conversation. So if I click into this one, as you can see, this is exactly the message that we've just seen. So what's happening here is we have one conversation. A conversation is basically a little process that your chatbot can handle. And in this instance, it is the conversation of when someone first uses your bot. As you can see, when user first uses the bot. And so when it's the first time that the user uses the bot, they're going to get this message no matter what. So there's nothing else that's going to be sent. So for now, what I can do is I can click options here, and I'm going to skip all of this because we're going to talk about that at length later on. But what I can do is I can scroll all the way down here, and I can start editing this message. So as you can see, at the moment, this is an action message. There's a whole bunch of messages that we could use. I could use a standard message, which would literally just be a text message like this. So let's go and have a look at that. So I'm going to save that, close that, go back in here. Okay, welcome to your new chatbot. So that's not too bad. As you can see, obviously I managed to change it. That's great, but it's not really helpful. So what can I say here? I guess we can kind of introduce what this bot is going to do a little bit. So welcome to your new chatbot is obviously not, first of all, the language is not good, but also it doesn't really say what this bot is going to do. So for us, we're going to pretend that we are a marketing agency and we sell SEO and website building and PPC advertising services. So we sell these three products or services, sorry. And whichever people are interested in, we'll capture the information. And if someone is interested in our PPC services, we'll send that to our PPC people. And if they're interested in website building, we'll send them to the web team, etc., etc. So for the purpose of this, what I want to do is I want to say, welcome to our chatbot. I can help you find information about our SEO, PPC, and web design services. Save that. So what I've done here is I've basically obviously tweaked the language for this first one. Welcome to our chatbot. You wouldn't really say welcome to a new chatbot every time. And then I've created a second message, which is I can help you find information about our SEO, PPC, and web design services. So these two messages, because I've created them one after the other like this, will basically do exactly that. So they'll send one after the other. There you go. So welcome to our chatbot. I can help you find information about our web design, etc., etc. Okay, so that's a good start. I think that's not too bad. What I want to do is I want to design the widget a little bit. So this, what I call the widget, is this kind of window here. As you remember, I went on ubisend earlier, and what did I do? Yeah, I had a look at rbot, and rbot looks obviously fairly similar to this. But as you can see, this is like ubisend brand. And so, do I want ubisend brand on this one? Probably not. I mean, it's built on ubisend, but let's have fun and kind of make it more kind of a different brand. And the good thing is, obviously, with the ubisend platform, you can do all of that. So if I go into channel settings here, we've seen this page before. This page is the one where I can basically turn on different channels. And as you can see at the moment, I only have a green tick next to one, which is the converse widget, which is exactly that. So it's that little widget on the website. Yep. And so if I go into this by clicking options, I forgot to click it. There's a whole bunch of stuff that I can do here. As you can see, I have a little example here on the right, which is helpful. I do realize my webcam is in the way a little bit. I'm going to move that left for now. Here we go. Just checking that my webcam actually moves. Yeah, perfect. So I have it here on the right, which is helpful because I can see what I'm doing. So the first thing is lead generation demo bot. Probably not a really good name for a bot. So what I'm going to do is, let's come up with a name. So we're a PPC marketing agency. Marketing agencies, in my experience, naming a marketing agency. In my experience, it's always like a color and the name of an animal or something like that. And so let's have a look. Just have fun with that. What do? What do I like? I like dogs. Let's have a look. Dog complete, dog decide. Let's see. I'm going to call it purple dog, just because I like that. Purple dog. No, I don't want to do purple because we already are purple. Yellow dog. I feel like yellow dog is the name of a book. Yellow dog marketing. I'm just going to quickly Google that, just in case that's someone already. Yellow dog creative. Yellow dog creative. Yellow dog agency. I don't see anyone called Yellow Dog Marketing, so that's good. No, at least not with that domain name. So that's cool. I can use that. If you are from Yellow Dog Marketing, a real agency somewhere, I'm very sorry. Wasn't my intention. Okay, so now I've made the huge mistake of calling this yellow, which means that I'm not I'm now gonna have to design this as a yellow bot, and that's just gonna look absolutely terrible. But we'll give it a try. So as you can see, obviously I have the bot on the right here, the widget on the right. And what I want to do is I want to make sure that this kind of looks like something that's relevant to me. Very early on in the build process, you want to make sure that if you're working for a client or even if you're working internally, you want to make sure that whenever people use this bot, they recognize their brand. I know that our partners, for instance, that's really the first thing that they do, because the first thing that they'll do is the first thing that they'll want to do as a partner is go through, the really complex stuff and create the FAQs and create the language and create the conversations and say, wow, when you say this, the bot says that, etc., like all the cool stuff. But then they show it to the client, and the first thing the client says is, this doesn't look like our brand. It doesn't have a logo. It doesn't have our name. It doesn't have our designs or colors. And so I like to get off on the right foot here and just design it straight away. It kind of puts the mindset into what it is that I'm actually building. And so there's all sorts of things I can do here. The first thing I can do is obviously work on the banner settings, which is, as you can see, this is kind of this pre-window here, which is cool. We can do that after. This is language. What I want to work on is the colors. So at the moment, this is the colors of this kind of background. And as you can see, I can do like, gradients here, which look absolutely terrible because I don't have any design skills. But you can use that, which is, I think it's really, really cool. Most of our customers actually use it because it just kind of gives it makes it stand out a little bit. So what I want to do is I want to see what happens if I do this. It's a bit in your face, isn't it? Let's see if I can find a nice yellow, tame yellow color. X. So I can use hex. I can use hex colors, which is not too bad, which is quite cool. So let's see if I can use this. What does this look like? Oh, that's even more in your face. Darker, 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 darker. Sorry, I'm doing this on my second screen. That's even more ugly. What about this? I'm gonna have to rename our bot to something a little bit less disgusting. Okay, well, let's just leave it at that for now. I think that's not too bad, to be fair. Also, it's worth noting that when people talk to you about, so this is a real life example, they rarely stay on this page for long because as soon as you click this, you go into the bot, which obviously keeps that banner at the top branded and the bubbles as well stay branded, but it's a lot less in your face than the rest. So what can I do here? I can change that color here, which could be nice actually. Let's see. Yeah, that could be nice. And then launcher settings. So yeah, we can do that. So the launcher is this little bubble on the bottom right here in the ubisend bot. As you can see, it's white with our logo into it. So I could add a logo into it, and I might do later. But so you can change that color as well to make it stand out. I'm going to obviously put that as yellow because that's what we're going after. Call to actions, I'm not going to use one just yet. You could basically have a call to action that would just look a little bit like this. So, you know, I could add a new call to action here. And basically, call to actions attract the eye of the website visitor, and just kind of gets them to click on the bot. So here we have I'm UbiBot here to help, and that kind of attracts the eye as people scroll through. That stays there, and they can see that. And so that's really helpful. But I'm not going to do that just yet because that's kind of not a priority just yet. So I'm going to turn, where is it, call to action? I'm going to turn that off. Message settings. So now we're getting somewhere. So what I want to do here is I want to basically change the colors between these bubbles because obviously it's still purple, so that's a bit silly. And I want to make it a bit more, yellow dog marketing branded. So obviously I could just do this. It's possible. I wonder what happens if I do that. Hey. I don't really know if that changed anything. It's not too bad. I could have something a bit more like that. I think that's quite cool. And then these ones a bit lighter. Lighter. I'm misclicking. I think that's quite nice. So black on white on black, and then black on kind of light gray. I don't want to go white because you just can't see anything. That's kind of weird. I quite like this one, so I'm going to save that for now. In terms of avatars, so I can have avatars if I'd like to. So the avatars are particularly helpful when you have a fallback to human happening. So if you have a live chat, if you ever decide to use live chat, eventually you can actually change these avatars to reflect who the actual human looks like when the human takes over. And so you have this little icon for the bot when it's the bot talking, and you have the little icon with the human when it's the human talking. So that's quite nice. But for now, I'm not going to use any of that. So I don't want. I'm not gonna turn that on. Composer settings. I could add a hamburger menu here, which basically allows me to trigger some actions, which is not too bad. It's quite cool, but I have nothing to trigger here. So it's basically this little thing that pops up here. So if I added, talk to human, this would be a button that would take me straight into that interaction, which could be quite helpful. But for now, I don't have anything to send it to, so I'm not going to use that. So again, I'm going to save. Okay, last thing I want to do, if I go into the bot, this is all nice and good. Looks cool. I think it looks quite nice. What I'm going to do as a final kind of step here is I'm going to change this banner setting here because that doesn't mean anything. So I'm going to say, welcome to Yellow Dog Marketing. Woofy, the yellow dog, chat dog. I can answer questions about our PPC, SEO, and web design services. I can't type. Need to talk to a human. I can put you in touch in 0.5 bucks. Cool. Okay. All right. So now this bot is kind of ready. I think it looks cool. I think we can definitely work with that. Um, let me see. Let me see what I might have missed. Oh, we can add a logo. Let me see if I can create quickly a logo. So logo. I'm basically using Canva for this, which is quite nice. Um, I don't know if this is good. Yes, this is quite good. Um, might actually just create a. I might do that. Let's do a logo, and then I'm gonna take a dog. You can't see what I'm doing at the moment. Sorry about that. I'm only doing this because there's a chance that actual ubisend information would be shown on screen there. I'm going to download this. Oh, I think I've messed up. I'm going to make it transparent. Yes. Download. Okay. What I want to see is if I go into, so I'm gonna put this logo in. I think it might look a bit pants, and if it does, I'll go away and change it. But um, just to show you this, here we go. So it does look a bit crap. It's a bit too small. It's a bit silly. But at least it's a place to start. And in the converse widget, I can do the same. So I can change the logo. I can do that, and then I'm going to do this. Okay, so that doesn't look very good, does it? All right, cool. I'm going to try and find a better logo later on. For now, I don't want to spend too much time on this because you're not here to watch me create logos. Okay, so you have a place to start. So that's cool. We have a bot. We have a bit of a design, and we have a goal for this bot. So the first thing I want to do is I want to go back into this demo, and I want to make sure that this interaction initially is good enough. Um, I kind of taken my lesson from the last session I ran, or the last series I ran, where if you remember, if I go back to that specific bot, if you remember, if you go in the bot here, so again, this is the previous one I built, we had this kind of agree to the policies before moving forward. So before I could even type anything, as you can see, I'm going to do it again because I was probably too quick. Before I can actually type anything, there's no place here for me to type in this spot. I needed to agree to the policies. And then at that point, I can now type. So that's good. And so I spent time last session or last series building this. And I think that's fine. And it's something that I would certainly look at doing. The only thing I'm going to do is I've learned my lesson is that it's incredibly annoying to create that as a first thing, because every single time you go and test the bot for whatever reason, you need to press yes on that little thing. And it's this kind of one interaction. You just go back and forth all the time testing your bot. And so this kind of one interaction is a bit overwhelming. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to go through that straight away right now. I'm going to park that for a minute, and I'm going to go through creating an FAQ. I think this is a really good place to start. Um, as a marketing agency or as a pretend marketing agency here, what we have to expect is that people will come to our bot and ask about our services. And so, what I want to do is I want to start creating some FAQs around the services that we provide. Like last time, this is all made up, absolutely made up. So don't read into any of this. I'll probably write some weird language. This is not actually something that exists in the world. Obviously, yellow dog marketing doesn't exist. So, okay. So what I've done is I've gone into NLP and FAQs. I would say that the chatbots, what's at the core of a chatbot is its knowledge base. And its knowledge base is comprised of two things. The first being FAQs. FAQs are all of these type of questions you can ask to a bot to receive a really instant kind of one word or one sentence or a couple of sentences answers, and then you're done. So FAQs are obviously frequently asked questions, so that's kind of the clue is in the title. But it's the one done kind of interaction. And typically a chatbot will have about 100 or 150 FAQs set up quite frequently. The the other thing that the other 50% is conversations. So conversations are these things that we briefly looked at earlier in here in this page. And conversations are basically little processes that your users can go through. I'm just going to go into one super quickly. So conversations that people can go through to go down a specific path. So let's just click here, for instance. And as you can see, you go down you start at the top and you go down a specific path. So yeah, so it's like this one and done kind of thing, which is the FAQs, and then the processes, which are the conversations. And for now, I'm going to focus on FAQs because that's probably it's usually the first thing that you try to build, and so I'm gonna start with that. So if I go into NLP and FAQs, as you can see, I have nothing built just yet. So I'm going to create my first one here by clicking here in the top right. Excuse me. So what are we going to create this about? So obviously, like I said, we're a marketing agency, and so what's likely to happen is we have three services. We have SEO, we have PPC, and we have web building. And so what's likely to happen is people will ask about these products. So what I can do here is FAQ name. Giving the FAQ name is really, really important. It will allow you to kind of go through all of your FAQs really quickly once you need to, and eventually you'll have, like I said, 100, 150, 200 FAQs to work with. So you want to have really explicit short names. You want to really be organized here. And so here I'm going to create an FAQ around what are our SEO services. And so I'm just going to call this about SEO services. This naming convention will allow me to then find the FAQ in the list of FAQs, but also when we start doing some training, it will allow me to train this FAQ a lot better as well. What I can do is I'm going to create tags as well. So here I've just created an SEO tag. This again is going to allow me to categorize and tag every FAQs that are kind of related under the same tag. That's really important. And then what I can do is I can give this FAQ 3 examples of a question that it needs to answer. So obviously your chatbot needs to be able to pick up a humanly written piece of text called utterance from one of your users, deconstruct it, figure out what this is about. So is this about our SEO services, or is it about the price of bread or whatever? And based on what your chatbot figures out from deconstructing that utterance, go into its database and figure out, okay, this is about SEO services, so resurface this thing about SEO services. And to do this really well, what you want to do is you want to train the bot as much as possible on recognizing not only one question that it needs to answer or to be able to spot or deconstruct and realize what it means, but multiple ways of asking the same question. Because the more ways you give them, you give your chatbot of figuring out a similar question, the more it will be, the more efficient it will be at spotting them later on as well. And so here we kind of recommend doing 3, starting with 3, but eventually, you'll have 10, 15, 20, 50 different ways once you start training, which we'll look at in a minute. Cool. So what are your SEO services? Tell me about your SEO services. What's included in your SEO services? Okay, so those are 3 kind of similar ways of asking the same question. So what are your SEO services? That's quite obviously common, presumably a common question, and it's going to fit really nicely under about services. Tell me about your SEO services. Exactly the same question. Obviously not a question in this instance. It's just a statement. Yeah. And then what's included in your SEO services? You kind of want to think about that a little bit, because what's included is kind of different from what are your SEO services. So it's kind of like saying what is your lunch menu, which would be a sandwich and a bottle of water and some crisps, versus what's included in your lunch menu, which could be like it has bread, it has bananas, it has bread, it has tomatoes, it has salad, it has ham, that sort of stuff. Um, so you might not want to go as granular as this, but it's always good to kind of have a think when you create your FAQs whether or not this would actually potentially mean something slightly different, and the user might expect slightly more details or slightly less details. So in here, what's included in your SEO services, I would say the user sending this would expect a list of we do this, versus what are your SEO services, which would be we do this kind of general service here. Click here to learn more. So let's try and rephrase this a little bit. What's included in your services? Um, okay, cool. So that's better for me. Okay, so I can hit create on this, and now I've created the first part of the FAQ. So those are the questions that the bot will need to, like I said, take away, deconstruct, reconstruct, and use this kind of process to find out what when other people send or actual real people send it messages, whether or not to match their messages to this particular FAQ. Cool. So that's half of that done. And now what I want to do is I want to obviously write an answer here. And so this is a good place to kind of have a bit of a deeper look at the type of messages that we have available here, because we might be able to use some fancy stuff here. So far, what I've done is we've looked at standard messages. So standard messages would be our SEO services are fully, we provide complete SEO services from website audit to a 17-page long document of recommendations. So as you can tell, I don't really have much knowledge about this. Okay, so this is just a standard message. So if I were to save this, we'd be pretty much good to go. This is great. It has just a very kind of short one-sentence message, kind of nice, kind of boring as well. What do we have as well? We have quick replies. So quick replies are messages like plain messages with a bit of a button here at the bottom. So learn more. We won't go into what this is at the moment, or visit our page, etc., etc. So you can kind of add these bubbles here, and if you can add up to 10. So I'm just adding some random stuff for now. Stop at that. Oh crap! Sorry. Okay, so as you can tell, I'm basically adding more, and as you can tell, you can kind of swipe through, which is quite nice. When you have 10, you can actually swipe, between the 10. So that's quite cool. So those little buttons are quite helpful. If I click learn more, for instance, I go into a different conversation or something like that. So that could be cool. We also have action messages. Action messages are basically messages with up to 5 buttons, but big buttons. So learn more, or a URL button, which is like visit our website, or a file, download our brochure. So as you can see, it kind of gives you these kind of big buttons here to use, and makes it a bit more interactive, a bit more engaging. If you wanted to do that, that's quite cool. The appeal of doing the big buttons is obviously design-wise, it's kind of different, but also it allows you to do these 3 things. So you can do a postback, which we're not going to go into too much just yet. A URL, sorry, a postback just kind of triggers another conversation. So again, we won't go into that too much, but that's enough for you to know at the moment. A URL obviously sends you to another page, and then a file allows you to basically just see the PDF in your browser or download it. So that's quite helpful. And again, all of these kind of message types allow you to improve the experience here. So what could I do? I could also do a general message, which has this really nice this is our title. This is our subtitle. So it has this bigger, more beautiful this kind of bigger card with a nice image, a title, subtitle, a button. It's really nice and pretty. It's really engaging, and that looks really nice. And now we're kind of starting to actually provide a bit more of an experience within this bot. Now we see we could do carousels, and so carousels are basically I'm just going to type random things here, but they're basically the same as what we just did, but you can have multiple cards. So again, if I go like this and like this, as you can see, you can swipe through and have multiple. I think you can have up to 10 of those. I know that we can have up to 10 of those. And so again, that's really good if you want to present, multiple products, multiple services all at once. You can kind of give this swiping thing. Images are good. It would just literally just be a message like this, which is quite cool. I can also add a bit of text. Video. Let's see. Can I find a nice video to show? So this text obviously can go. You don't have to have that. I'm just going to put this. So I'm just going to grab that. And so you can choose your provider. You can choose YouTube or Vimeo. For now, I'm just going to do YouTube. And as you can see, it's kind of like, you have your video inside the bot as well, which is really cool. And yeah, you can add some text here. So that's nice. Content allows you to basically add more content on the back. It's going to be really hard for me to show you this for now, but you could basically have a normal text message here, and you can have additional content here. Sorry, I can't type. Hello, this is our additional content. So I can't really show you this because this is not going to work here. But this basically would allow you to have a bit more content behind that click, that button click here. You would have a little panel that opens that would show you what this additional content is. And here in this, you can actually kind of create paragraphs and headings and have nice lists and all that sort of stuff. So that's quite cool as well. What else do we have? We have embedded, which I'm not going to show you because it's too complex. We have progress messages, which are great for like, please wait, someone is joining the chat. So it's something like this, like it has this little animation here on the left, which shows the user that something's going to happen. So that's really good. We have payments, which offers a little payment gateway. We're not going to do that because, again, we're just creating a lead generation bot. Then we have events here, which allows me to have these kind of really short, almost notification-like messages. So your email has been sent, something like that. You can use all of that. So, all right. So there's 12. There are 12 message types, and for those of you who are already inside the app and just kind of looking at it from a slightly for those of you who are already inside the app, you know all of this, but it's always worth going back and kind of seeing all of the different ways that you could use kind of slightly different messages to spruce up the experience, make it more engaging, make it more user-friendly and sticky for the users as well. Okay, so we kind of lost track here. Let's go back and just write for now. We're just going to write a standard message. So I completely lost the message that I was going to write now. So our SEO services include a full website audit up to 20,000 pages and the production of an actionable 18 page document. Cool, so I can save this. All right, now we've saved our FAQ and I can exit this page. All right, so this took us a while. Obviously, in the real world, I wouldn't take that long to create an FAQ. I just went through this really quickly, really slowly, just to be able to explain loads and loads of things to you. But you can see that if we were to go through quite quickly and we would just say about web design services, web dev, what are your web design services? What are your web dev services? I don't know why I call this web dev. web design. Tell me about your web design services. Can you tell me about your web design services? Question. Okay, so perfect. Great. Just a normal message. Our web design services include a full scope project scope from project initiation, something like that, to mockups. I don't remember what they are, like those things that you can actually click on online. Figma designs and final design implementation. Boom. Done. So here I just created an FAQ in about, I don't know, 5 seconds, maybe not 5 seconds, 1 minute. And as you can see, it goes quite quickly. And you can really go through this super quickly. If you wanted to, you could even just duplicate this. So I could just duplicate this and just do, PPC services, PPC services, PPC, 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 create. Done. I've done it even faster this time. So as you can see, you can use all sorts of tools here to help you build these a lot quicker. In terms of creating FAQs, this is pretty much exactly what you want to spend a lot of your time on initially. So what I'll quickly do is I'll go into the tags here because I created this one that really annoys me. So I'm just going to quickly delete that. Perfect. Okay, so what have we done? We've managed to do quite a lot. We've managed to design the bot. We've managed to create 3 FAQs, all of which have an answer. We've managed to create a welcome message, or 2 messages rather, but a welcome experience. And so this bot says, I can help you find information about our services, etc. So let's give it a try. What are your SEO services? Our SEO services include a full website audit, up to 20,000 pages, blah, 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 blah. Cool. So this FAQ is working. What else do we have? Oops, I went to the wrong page. What are your PPC services? Our PPC services include the creation of your campaign, etc., etc. Okay, so where are we now then? What we want to kind of think about now is the step from here to having a really functioning lead generation website is there's obviously quite a big step here. In the real world, you would start with FAQs for a while. You'd probably build FAQs for about a week. If you were to do this, if you already have a really well-functioning website, a well-functioning company, you probably know all of the FAQs you'll need to create. So a real marketing agency, for instance, they would know the type of questions that they get all the time, like what's your hourly rate, what's your day rate, what kind of tools do you work with WordPress, all that sort of stuff. So it's probably really likely that you'll be able to compile together a list of, let's say, 50 or 100 questions that you know your chatbot needs to be able to answer. So that's cool. That's easy. And so you spend the first week doing that, and then what you would do after that is spend a lot of time training your bot. So now if I say, what's your PPC service like, my friend? So something like this, the bot will not be able to answer because it just doesn't know what I'm going on about. I literally just created that one FAQ once. It doesn't really know much more than that. It has 3 versions of that FAQ in its quote unquote brain, but that's not enough for it to understand this sentence. And so what you spend a lot of time on doing right now is obviously creating the FAQs, but not just that. You'd also train the FAQs and train the bot, which is something that we'll spend some time on probably in session 3. So yeah, you'd spend about a week building FAQs. that would be the first step, and then afterwards you'd start building the interactions within the actual chatbot builder. And so this is what we're going to do next week. I'm kind of going to I'm kind of going to end the live stream in a bit because we've run out of time. So what I want to do next week is I'm going to go through the conversation builder together so we can have a quick look at it. And then we're going to just dive right in and just actually start creating a conversation, because that's how you learn best. And so next week we're going to actually create the first inquiry or lead generation conversation, which is going to be a lot of fun. So let's try and do that. So if you want to be alerted about this, subscribe to the channel. You'll get a the ubisend YouTube channel. You'll get a little notification saying that I've gone live. If you don't want to do that, you can obviously just put yourself a little reminder. I do these sessions every Tuesday at 1 o'clock, typically between 1 and 2 o'clock UK. And yeah, this series is going to last maybe 6-7 weeks. So there's going to be a lot for us to have a look at. And so I'm quite excited to go through all of this with you. I promise I'll find another little icon here because it's just a logo, because it looks a bit odd. But yeah, I'll do that offline. And I'll see you all next week. Thank you for attending. See you.